It's a March night out in a tiny bit toasty travel trailer from the USA. And here's where we took the little turtle, and despite our fears we had a warm and silent night on this hardly heard of Caravan Club secret site. It's small, it's cute, and you can tow it with just about anything. It's a tiny little Turtle 1200 we took out on test from Teardrop Trailers of Uckfield. Our new tow car is a 2-litre diesel partner, which we got because of its power, economy and serious load space. But it didn't even know the little trailer was hitched on. We collected the trailer from Terry Smith's warehouse and showroom, and before leaving had a good look round at his stock. He imports 3 kinds of teardrop style trailers, 2 from the Little Guy range in the USA and 1 from Turkey, which is built to his own modified design. That's called the Turtle 1200, and it's a more European take on this kind of travel trailer. But it's best to start at the most basic, so here's Terry in the Little Guy Deluxe, the bottom spec that he imports from the States.
This is the Little Guy 4-wide,
Yep.
Deluxe, comes with the alloy wheels, checker plate on the underbelly, a couple of cupboards inside here and the hatch at the rear.
Nice and simple, isn't it?
Basic.
But you sell lots of them.
We're doing well with this. This was the first one we bought in. We then bought in the 5-wide, which is basically a wider version of this. People that have done a bit of camping have got their own camping equipment. People that are coming in fresh don't really understand what it's all about until they've actually tried it. But teardrop trailers are basically easy camping. It's 5 foot wide, it gives you a bigger bed. Extra 2 cupboards, bigger shelf on the back, just a bigger unit all round.
And again, it's very straightforward and basic, isn't it?
Yep. This lifts up, gives you access to your storage below there. Drops down and bolts in for transportation.
Okay. So the difference between the two is just literally an extra foot in width.
Extra foot in width.
Right. Now here's a trick. Don't try this on most caravans.
They're a very sturdy unit. If you have a ply inner, polystyrene, a ply outer, and then you have a laminate which is bonded onto the outside, which gives you a very strong board. This is on the sides, the flooring and over the roof, so you're completely insulated.
We also met Terry's wife Adele and the family. Newest addition is their own little guy, Lewis, who was so excited he couldn't stay awake. And daughter Charlotte thought the whole thing was a bit worrying. Now, in early March, there's something of a lack of available sites. So we selected one at random from the Caravan Club handbook, which had the main benefits of being relatively near and open. Amberley Fields near Gatwick, of which more later. It's not a big site, and during the winter only the hard standings are open. This particular turtle has an awning, a modified gazebo, which was easy to put up, although I put it up on the wrong side first, assuming that it went up where the awning light was. Oh dear. But at least it was light enough and easy enough for the 2 of us to lift and walk around to the right side, where we finished off the assembly reasonably easily. And in the morning, we had at Gatwick a perfectly pleasant night's sleep. The planes seemed to stop at around 10:30ish, and they didn't start again until around 6:30, so we were just about awake when the first one we noticed taking off. They are quite loud, but you can get used to it. It's not really a big issue. The Caravan itself, well, we slept like logs. I don't know whether that was because we had a busy day, but it certainly wasn't a problem sleeping in this 4-foot wide, essentially bed on wheels. It was very comfortable. The thing that we've got with this little travel trailer is a very adequate awning. It's a gazebo, in fact, and it's one of those types with the automatic erecting top so that it's easy to put up. Actually, putting up the gazebo itself took us about 5 or 8 minutes. It's not a big issue. But what takes a bit more time, of course, is adjusting it, getting it just right and pegging it down, because whatever you do, pegging it down is always a job. So, once you're inside here, you've then got a decent bit of living space to go with this bit of sleeping space. Once you're inside the little Caravan and in your pit, it's really quite comfortable. You've got all the space you need. I suppose that if you suffered from claustrophobia, you'd be suffering a bit now. But in fact, from my point of view, this is a perfectly comfortable place to spend a night. Night night. One very cute idea that Terry Smith has come up with on these trailers is to attach the gazebo to the actual vehicle in a very simple way. It's got a few poppers around the sides, so the poppers actually are attached to the Caravan. The awning or the gazebo has a panel with poppers attached, and they fit in together on your pitch. The gazebo goes together very simply. The panels are actually attached to each other by means of a Velcro strip, so that means it's straightforward to assemble. The only problem that you sometimes have is getting the panels to match up, because there are zips to join each panel and you need those over the corner poles. One of the few odd features about this little Caravan is that it doesn't have a handbrake, and there's no braking system on the van. It doesn't need one, it's too light. So you rest on the jockey wheel and on the main two wheels because the centre of gravity is well forward, it doesn't need steadies. But what you could do with is some form of braking. In fact, we've got a pair of wheel chocks that seem to do the job jolly well. And I guess if you're careful, you can always pick somewhere that's reasonably flat to park on. Inside, surprise surprise, it's really rather comfortable. There's a main system with a couple of sockets inside, and one's in use for the simple tubular heater installed specially for tonight. There's a power panel and a Swish entertainment system. There's also a very neat winder to elevate the roof opening, which also has a fly screen and a blind. There's a small cargo locker at the front end. In this side we've got space for the wheel lock, and we can stack the electric cable on top of that. Got a leisure battery. This is only a small one, but it would take a bigger one, and you've got your battery charger, etc., and your power point. The power actually comes in through the cable normally, and you can just shut the lid on top of the cable, and in fact you can lock it quite safely. We've got on very well with the little kitchen, and as long as you can survive on a single ring burner, you'll do nicely too. Of course, you could have a George Foreman grill plugged into the mains, which would give you grilling capacity, and you could have an electric kettle as well, so you could do quite nicely. So, what's our verdict on the Teardrop Trailers Turtle 1200? Well, I think we're uniformly pretty impressed with it. It's designed specifically for people who don't want all the bells and whistles, but who do want to be able to get away with a minimum of fuss, bother and fol-de-rah. It's pretty comfortable. We slept in there in considerable comfort. It's the beginning of March. We had a very small greenhouse style tube heater, which we had to switch off at about 2 o'clock in the morning because we were too hot.